Hello and welcome to episode 55 of the Talk Nintendo podcast. I am one of your hosts, Casey Gibson, and joining me this fine evening, as always, the one, the only, Perry Burkham.
Guess who visited me the other day?
Was it the Tooth Fairy?
That could be one of his nicknames.
That'd be weird, actually.
That would be a weird name. No, the Bivs.
Ooh, the Bivs, huh?
Japan. Yeah, the Bivs-san. Danny Bivens and his wife.
He flew all the way to hang out?
Yeah, it's the darndest thing. Apparently, James Charlton, just invited him to my house without me knowing. And so he just showed up with his wife one day and then explained the whole thing, so,
Perfect.
Yeah. But
there's nothing like a random Bivs at the door. Yeah.
That's right.
I wonder who's at the door, honey.
Yeah.
It's the Bivs!
Oh my goodness. No, yeah, not really. That's not what happened. But yeah, he was visiting USA, and then he stopped by, in between visiting people. So we had some fun. It was awesome.
That's sweet, dude. That's your first time ever meeting the Bivs, huh?
Heck yeah. I'm like, when's that ever gonna happen again? You know, I'll have to go to Japan.
I guess we will.
Japan came to me.
Sold.
Let's do it. Yeah, we've talked about it.
Dude, if there's one place I will go, hopefully before I die, that's the place. I really want to go to Japan so bad.
Japan's
One day.
Good stuff.
One day.
Nice people.
Then we could just go crash the Bivs'
We can crash
place.
at the Bivs. Yep. Yep.
Hope you don't mind. We're here to play video games and hang out.
It was actually pretty cool. We were looking through my Famicom games, you know?
Oh, yeah, dude, because that big old find I guess at this point, it's probably like half a year ago.
Probably, yeah. Oh, I still remember getting that mother and pulling it out and just freaking out. Good times. Anyway, we got a packed episode this time.
Some might even say it's hearty.
Yes.
But we'll get into that when it comes to news time.
Yeah. A bunch of new games that we've been reviewing, and I guess it was Casey's review week last week with 2 games, and then it's my review week this week with 2 games.
Mine's been the 16-bit week.
Yeah. And then we got some listener what they've been up to. I guess I don't know. Listener. What do we call that? I don't know.
You got me. We'll have to come up with some sort of jingle.
A listener game. I'm not coming up with any more jingles.
L-I-S-T Endermail.
We'll get into that. But then hefty another. I think 10 games came out for Switch this week.
Dude, the Switch is on fire right now. This eShop, dude. It's like California with these wildfires. It's crossed over into the eShop.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yep, it's gone over the Pacific Ocean.
The Mendoza line.
It looks like we got a packed news talk, and then our topic of the show, which is our top 3
most anticipated releases for the remainder of the year. We figured with the contest giveaway that we did this last week up to, it ended the night of recording, we were asking people what your favorite or most anticipated game outside of Odyssey was for the remainder of the year. So we figured it'd only be fitting that we gave our top 3 and sort of hype up the rest of the year because, believe it or not, man, this year is going to be over before we know it. It's already the middle of October.
Oh, man.
Mario's going to be here in 2 weeks, and then next thing you know, it's going to be Christmas, and there's going to be games galore, as if there weren't already enough out as we speak.
And there's going to be a shiny, well, probably not shiny, but a box on your doorstep for Christmas.
Is it going to be a brand new Mario Odyssey Switch bundle so I can finally get those dope red cons?
Maybe if I get that in a Craigslist deal.
Maybe if I win the lotto.
Anyway, we should get started on this packed episode. Now, I believe you have some sort of surprise.
Ooh, we sure do. It's been a hot minute since we've had the old Mystery history.
Mystery history. Yes, mystery history.
The return of. It's been a hot minute since we've had one of these.
I'm trying to think. Like, what? Yeah, I can't. Mario Kart on the.
I forgot what
with Mr. Panda, maybe.
Was that
Super
the
Mario
last
Kart?
one? I feel like I might have done a mystery history
maybe
in between that time, but I can't even remember.
Yeah, we should have a list somewhere of this.
We need to make master list.
Yeah. Yep.
But enough of that jazz. For those who don't know, Mystery History, it is a game where I play an old game. Perry's gonna guess. He's got 15 guesses, and he has 15 questions to ask me about the game, and then he will formulate a guess, or hopefully he'll know what game it is. After 5 questions, I will have a hint question for him, or I should just say a hint, and that'll be after the 5th, the 10th, and then finally after he's exhausted all of his questions, I will give him one last hint, and then he can guess on what the game is. So
and that just reminded me that the last one was Lost, the WarioWare one.
Oh, that's right. That's
Remember?
right. Yep.
It was botched anyway, so.
Yeah, because I didn't think of questions because I'm an idiot. But don't you dare worry about it. I've got hints lined up, and I've got a little history. It's perfect. I'm ready.
Beautiful.
Are you?
Beautiful. Okay, well then I'll get things started. Is it when it was released? Was it on a handheld device?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that could be DS, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. Let's see. Because we're not counting 3DS, right?
No.
We wouldn't do that. Yeah. I don't know when we're gonna start not counting that. Well, that's still releasing stuff. So, okay. Is it on the DS?
Yes.
Oh man, that was a lucky guess. Nice. Okay. All right. So, what would Casey be playing at the beginning of October on a DS? What games has he got?
See, I was thinking you might have leaned towards an SNES game with the release of the classic, but you sniffed this one out real quick.
Yeah, I sure did. I was thinking that'd be too obvious,
Yeah, because then there's only 21 games. You could literally just about all your questions.
yeah, exactly. Is this a game made by Nintendo or published? Is it have the Nintendo name on it? Is it a first or second party release?
Yes, it is. Now, I'm just going to double confirm before I let you move on here. But
you turn on the game, and I can hear the music, and it's like,
oh no,
it's Fire Emblem.
Yeah, no, my suspicions are confirmed. Nintendo,
it was
yes,
at least published by Nintendo.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a big hint because it's not obviously published by Nintendo. Whew. See what I did there? See, that was a good one.
Yeah, you're welcome for my lack of preparation.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Is it a platformer?
No, it is not.
Okay.
You're at 4 questions, so after this next question, you will get a hint.
I think I might know what it is. It's just a maybe. Okay. Okay. Is it? What type of game is it?
Will Perry.
Yeah. Is it a rhythm game?
No, it is not.
Okay. All right. Good.
All right.
There goes
So we've hit the first benchmark here for hints. Now, this hint, I don't know. It might throw you off. It might help you. We will see.
All right.
This game originated as a minigame in a long-standing Nintendo franchise.
I know what this game is.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Let's hear it.
Is it? Wait, hold on. Is this on the DSiWare?
Yes, it is.
Is it Bird and Beans?
Yes, it is. Yeah, well, yeah. Yep.
Nope, that was a good hint. And you know what? Not a lot of people probably knew that.
Well, you know what it is? Well, I'll tell you, a lot of people probably do know.
Well, now.
Yeah.
Now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, my second hint was you control a red bird with a white belly. And the third one was this game was featured in the 2017 Nintendo World Championships. I knew you had not watched the championship, so I wasn't sure if...
Oh, I did catch it. I actually did catch a bunch of it. Like, probably like the first... Like the second fifth of it, probably. So I actually did watch this. And I was watching Bird and Beans, and I was like, dude, these guys are all noobs. Like, I would have killed it there.
Well,
I would have killed it. But they were all playing it for the first time. It seemed like it. But, I mean, they were just...
And you also got to think,
watch it.
They've got tons of people screaming and yelling, and like the pressure's on. So I get it to an extent, but after one game, I think I beat like my second try ever. I'm pretty sure I beat everyone's score.
Yeah.
that
I know. It was really painful because it's like they would go and they would. Okay, let's talk about the game, and then I'll tell you why it was painful.
Let me give a little history first off. It was launched on April 5th, 2009. It was a cost of 200 Nintendo points back when they still used those Nintendo points. It translates to $1.99 in current money, real money, I should say, or at least the American dollar. You could still pick it up. It is DSiWare game, but you could pick it up on the eShop. This was a remake of the minigames from WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games of Pyoro. Is that how you pronounce it? Puro.
Yep.
And Puro 2.
Yes.
In the original game, you would have to unlock you'd have to encounter and unlock for free play all of the minigames to unlock the first mode. And by getting a flower on every minigame, which was done by beating the set goal times, you would unlock the second part of that. They packaged this up as a DSiWare game. And
such a good idea. I loved that.
There is actually a little change from the original games. On the floor, there are 20 tiles. In the original WarioWare game, they bumped it up to 30 for the DSiWare, the DSiWare game.
Okay.
So I guess
I was gonna
gives
say,
you a little more flexibility and to move around.
So it's like, fun fact, if you're an ambassador for the 3DS, you have this game.
Yeah, I guess I technically did.
Yeah, but like you said, a little different, and you have to unlock it and stuff. And did you find the secret thing that you unlock in Bird and Beans yet?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't think so.
Have you unlocked anything in that game?
I unlocked the second mode.
Isn't it called Bird and Beans 2?
Yeah. Which is Pyoro 2.
Oh, Puro 2?
Puro 2, whatever.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes, dude, I love this game. Like, I'm a huge fan of this game. Also, this is made by the WarioWare people, as a mini game, and it's also featured on Game & Wario. It's like one of the last modes you get, and it's a fully remade, gorgeous game. And the cool thing is on the TV, it has these really beautiful, like hand-drawn graphics, like really cool, not pixelated. And then on the gamepad, it looks like a Game & Watch game.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's so cool. Yeah. And now that I think about it, I have to do that for our mini play now. I will totally do that. But yeah, so the object of the game, if you don't mind me going ahead.
Yeah.
So it's like beans are falling. Okay, there's a bird and beans.
Yeah, and there you have it. Moving on to the next game.
Yeah. There's a bird on the ground, and you're walking around, and you're shooting at a 45-degree angle, basically, your tongue up to grab beans as they fall from the sky. So not directly up, just 45 degrees. So the trick is you're trying to get them as high as they can, as
close to the top of the screen as possible.
Exactly, there you go. So you're trying to, and then, for instance, at the very top, if you get at the very top, it's 1,000 points. But if you get it at 80%, on the top, it'd be 300 points, and it keeps going down. So the trick of the game is kind of standing at the side and shooting that tongue out kind of blindly almost and hoping to grab those top ones. And then if they hit the ground, then it knocks off that piece of the ground and you cannot walk that way anymore until you get a white bean that will replace one of the tiles. And it's really smart the way it replaces the tiles too.
It's closest to you, right?
Yeah, it's the one that opens up the biggest.
Yeah,
I think it's
area.
the one that opens up the biggest area. That way, like, it won't just like put a random one that's it'll be one that's next to you that will help you the most.
Yeah, because you can possibly, for those who have not seen the game in action, you could get stuck in a corner where, you know, like only one tile is missing from the board, but it has you pinned in a corner, so your area to move is really small. You know,
Exactly.
so it does, and eventually, you know, in the beginning, it's not really too difficult to grab all the beans. Maybe one might snake down, and you'll have to grab one of the white beans to bring it back. But eventually, after you get going for a while, they start coming down fast and furious, which I think is sort of good and bad because, as you were saying, it's sort of easier or, you know, better to just sort of throw your tongue up there to try and get any beans you can towards the top of the screen for big points. And when they start coming down fast and furious, that's really when you can start racking up points. But you need to be cognizant of the beans that are falling down around you too.
Right. So, and then have you gotten those flashing beans?
Yep. And they clear out all of the beans in the air and give you 50 points per bean. And then it also replenishes all of the spots missing on the ground.
It's
so
the
that's
best
like
feeling ever, especially when you're super hectic.
Oh, that's like, yeah, it gives you like half a second to breathe, and you're like, whew.
Yeah. But even yeah, exactly what you said. Like, it's just like a half a second. And then, like, I remember ended up just going just for those flashing beans because there's so many like coming down. It's just raining on. But
oh yeah, you might as well, because you get a ton of points with those too. Because like I said, I mean, obviously, to grab a bean towards the top of the screen and get 1,000 points is ideal, but if there are 20 beans on the screen, you snag up 50 points per, you know? It's like, works great too, you know?
And
you're safe.
Replenishing the tiles, yeah. Yes. Oh, dude, I love, and to me, this is the epitome of DSiWare to me. I think that it was the coolest idea, little download games, and that was $2. It's such a bang for your buck because it's a perfect game. I mean, nowadays, right, we're living in the Switch era, but back in the DSi days, wonderful.
It really,
absolutely wonderful.
It really is a game that you could just pick up and play, and you know, you could put 5 minutes into it. You could put probably 15, 20 if you get hooked, and then you could just put it away. And it's one of those games that it's just always going to be good to go. You know,
and wacky, and yep. I am a huge fan of this game, so I'm so glad that you've played it. That's awesome. Now, and I'm glad that it's encouraged people from the championships.
Now
which is the weirdest thing in the world.
I know, when I saw it come up there, I was so surprised. I was like, wow, like they're really digging deep into these random little games, which is awesome.
Now,
and
have you heard of that before?
I had not. I went and looked it up because, like I said, remember, like
crazy man.
I never played any of the DSiWare or WiiWare games, really.
Right.
So this was all new to me. But have you played the second mode?
The Birds and Beans 2?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so in this mode, it's pretty similar concept. Of course, you're still your little bird, and you need to, you know, the beans are falling. But instead this time, presumably, you are full, and you are spitting seeds out now. And what you need to do is your rate of fire is way shorter. So you can't, you know, with the tongue, you could hit those beans up at the top of the screen. But in this mode, you really don't have a lot of, distance on your shots with the seeds. But if you hit a bean, it shoots that bean, and then it shoots seeds back beyond that. So if you have 2 beans lined up on your 45-degree angle, and one's towards the top of the screen, and you hit that bottom bean, it'll actually hit the other one too. So it gives a little different wrinkle into it, but changes completely how you approach each, you know, I don't want to say puzzle, how you approach each game, because it is a little more hectic. Now, I found it a little easier, actually, because with the tongue, like, you really need to sort of snipe and hit that in an exact spot. But the beans, when you're spitting the seeds out, you could just sort of spam towards the bottom, And I actually found it to be easier. I got higher score in the second mode opposed to the first one.
Yeah, see, it's been a long time. In fact, I don't even know if I had this on my 3DS. I think I had it only on my DSi, so that's how long it's been since I played it. So, and I know that I played. I think it's the first one that I played the most of. But now I can't remember. But I just remember I really liked the game, and I still do.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. Like I said, $1.99. You could pick it up on your 3DS if you are interested at all. Like I said, I mean, for me, I might go back eventually a little bit here and there. Probably won't put a ton of play into it, but I'm glad I picked it up and played it because it's definitely addicting fun, and like I said, it was just a trip to see on the Nintendo World Classics.
Well, I think this was a perfect mystery history, so thank you.
You're welcome. I just wish you didn't get it, you Jimmy.
Yeah, sorry. Yep. It gave it away, and plus, I guess you didn't realize that I had seen that, so we hadn't really talked about it.
I thought you weren't watching, so I was like, oh, maybe he might have seen a little something in passing on Twitter, but, I didn't, I don't think that was, I think that was more initial shock for a hot second and then just sort of faded away, So I was like, this might be a game where you don't know it, but a lot of the listeners might know it, so I thought that might have been cool, but way to go.
Sorry.
Ruining my plans.
Sorry.
That's it. I'm going fishing.
Yeah. All right.
But,
well, see you later. I can take care of this show.
Yeah. Why don't you tell the people what you've been playing while I leave?
Okay. No. No, please stay.
Yeah. Don't go. Never let go.
Okay. Well, yes, that was a good mystery history. And now I'm going to talk about one of the games I reviewed. And we actually mentioned this last week, but that is Pankapu. Yes, this is a platforming game that just came out on the Switch last week.
It looks
have
gorgeous.
You seen this game?
Yeah, graphically, it looks really, really nice. Like the backgrounds and stuff.
Totally. I think that when Justin, he told us about it a little last week, I think he would hit the nail on the head when he's like, it's kind of like Rayman Legends, like that style of a game. Now, it's kind of like Rayman, and it's not as, like, the character's bigger than Rayman is on the screen. But yeah, it's just gorgeous. I mean, and the colors are so vibrant. They're like brilliant. And yeah, just a gorgeous game. I think some of the character designs are they kind of have that flashy look, and then they have it kind of seems like at some parts that like a different artist was working on different parts of it.
It's not cohesive all the way through.
It's not necessarily bad, but yeah, cohesive. There you go. That's a perfect way. Like, yeah, it's not really cohesive all the way. I mean, in certain aspects, like, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like menu design and stuff like that.
Well, just looking at the screens, it feels very much like even just between the character design and the backgrounds. Like the backgrounds are so lush and like hand drawn and looks really nice. And then, like, not to say the character doesn't look nice, but it just looks like you could tell it's like, oh, the character's on top of that background.
Right. Which is good. I mean, which is good for some reasons.
At least it stands out. Yeah.
So the hook of this game is, I mean, it plays like it's almost like a straightforward Metroidvania, like a linear Metroidvania, if that makes sense. Like, you're kind of always getting upgrades.
See, that sounds nice to me.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I like the game. It's a good game. Now, so basically, you're going through levels. It's set in a fantasy world. It's actually literally set in the world of dreams. Yeah,
that's amazing.
There's this kind of weird narrative, like with this boy that's having like a nightmare, and then it's basically inside of his dream, and you're trying to get rid of the nightmare things, and it like has like these flashback stills of like what's going on in real life, and it's weird. Like, I mean, it's kind of like incoherent, like it doesn't make like it's there's a lot of text, reading, where it just gets kind of confusing, and it's just like I ended up just skipping the text because it's like I'm so lost here, and there's so many different systems of people that they're talking about, and it's like I just I don't care about the story, but
yeah, you're there
I'm
for
sure
the gameplay.
People could. I mean, it's actually a lot of it's voice acted, by a narrator, and it's really nice. I mean, it's good production. Like it's impressive, and yeah. So you play through the game, and you're playing as this black Pankapu and thing, and he's like a warrior with like armor, and he let me think. He has like a sword, so he's the standard red guy. You unlock different versions. You unlock a green guy and a blue guy, and the green one is an archer. So that changes. So you have a huge range now, and then he also lets you double jump, which is like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, that's game changing.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, so each color is associated with a different like class or rank.
Sorry, what?
So each color is sort of associated with its own sort of character class. Okay. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. And these you can all switch in real time.
Okay, that's cool. So you're not
switch with like the L and R buttons, like in between the red or the green or the blue. Like there's not red or green and blue guys following you. Like your guy changes to red. And so like for instance, the red, he's powerful. He has a short range attack, but it's really powerful. And then like the green guy can jump, and then I guess this is kind of spoilery if you don't want to know what you can do, but the green guy can jump and do the archer, the arrows, and the blue guy is really cool. He kind of has this, when he jumps, he can do kind of like the Tanuki tail glide.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
A little bit, and then he can also set like a decoy to attract other monsters.
Oh, and then you can sort of pick them off.
And then the monsters will go towards that decoy, and then you can attack them from behind, Oh,
that's cool.
And then, and he has a slow time. Like he can freeze enemies in time, stuff like that. It's cool. I also need to mention that the green guy can juke, or like he can
evade.
What's the word? He can dash. He can dash behind things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like out of the way of an attack.
Yeah, it's cool. Like for instance, if there's a lot of times it'll put you like going down a tunnel, and maybe there's something chasing you, but then like you're going and you can't jump over the spiked object without getting hurt, so you'll have to dash through it.
Okay.
And so like for instance, there's this certain kind of block that only the red guy can kill. So you have to switch to the red guy, but there's something chasing you. So you gotta hit the block, and then you have to switch to the green guy to dash through the spikes, and then change back to the red guy to hit the block. And it's not like it's not like crazy convoluted. It's really simple, and it works. It's fun. But this is where we get to the bad things. Every time you die, and it gets pretty dang hard. There's like a 5-second or like 10-second loading. And like,
yeah, it sort of takes you out of the game.
It does. Like, I'm so used to like Meat Boy, Slime-san, those kind of games where it's like, even Mario, it's just like
you get back into the action.
You just get right back into it.
Yeah.
But it's like, ugh. And the thing is the difficulty gets so hard that it's just like, my goodness, So it's really annoying. And I guess I had the game kind of, it froze on me once, but other than that, it ran fine. So it must have been doing that. Like, I'd rather kind of have that than like a choppy game. And then the other thing is like the level designs are are not that great. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It just doesn't seem very polished. It's not very like centered and like there's a lot of gray areas where and the enemy placement feels kind of cheap a lot. Sometimes
the cheap kills.
Yeah, I mean, I say that, and this is in some areas. In some areas, it's really good. Like, it's really different. But that'd be my only gripes I really have with the game is kind of those things. But otherwise, I mean, it's a nice platformer that I think is if you like platforming, and especially if you like fantasy, like that aesthetic, and changing it up. Like I said, it really reminds me of like a Metroidvania because of all the different upgrade. It's kind of like those. It's kind of like when you shift to different colors. It's kind of like changing your beam, or
I like
doing anything.
I'm glad they let you switch on the fly like that. Like
that's part of the puzzle.
Yeah, no, because I could see. Yeah, if
Like-
it was
like
something
at
like
the-
you were
like having
locked
to do,
in
like,
when you picked a level.
mid-level.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
frustrating. But no, I like the
There's some
idea
really-
that they sort of play off each other and that puzzles sort of require more than use of more than
Yeah.
just one.
Yeah, there's some levels where there's these rocks that basically take away the power of that color that they are. So it's like if you're around this green rock, like if you pass through it, you can't use your green color. So it limits you in traversal and stuff like that. Really cool. Cool ideas. They have a lot of fun ideas. Yeah, I really enjoyed the game. Everyone should check it out. Like Casey was saying before I said it, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it just shines on the TV and on the Switch. Just gorgeous. So, yeah, if you like Rayman, if you like just a solid platformer, I'd say it's worth it. I think it's $12, and there's a lot of game there for $12. Bosses are really fun and different, and yeah, check it out.
Awesome.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
So, speaking of awesome fantasy settings,
Yes. I've been playing. Yeah, I was like, huh? I've been playing, as I alluded to last week, I would be playing, and that is Golf Story.
yes, Golf Story, the game that everyone was talking about for 3 days.
Yeah, until the Megaton was released, but we'll get into that in just a minute as well. But no, Golf Story. It's funny because like last week, as I had said too, it's like I picked it up on launch day, and I think I played like a half hour. I didn't get to play much, and it was one of those like, man, I can't wait to really sort of sink my teeth into this game, especially since everyone was talking about. That was sort of the buzz on Twitter, like you said. Everyone was raving about this game. And, of course there were some people complaining, some crashes and stuff as well. So it was...
Yeah, I've heard very mixed reviews on this game, but nothing where it's a bad game. It's just I've heard good to it's incredible.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like the people that said it was good were maybe living up too much to the hype. Not that they were living up to the hype. The hype built it up to be something so incredible, and that, for some people it was just like, oh, that was a fine game, but like it definitely has blown up since it was first shown. Obviously, all of the comparisons to Mario Golf on the Game Boy Advance game, but
yeah,
getting into the game, it gets into the story, and you're sort of, it's like you're this golfer, you used to play or whatever, and then something. Oh no, okay. You did used to play when you were a kid with your like grandpa, and then the game, it starts out, it's so funny. It's like the grandpa's like, here's this letter. He's like, when you're older and life has beaten you down, open this letter, And then it's like years later, and you're like in this. Oh wait, no, my God, hold on. I lied. That's Stardew Valley. Oh man, yeah, I'm getting my games mixed up here.
That's funny.
You know, they both look pretty similar, so that was a complete brain fart on my
Well,
fault.
that's the thing is everyone was saying it's the Camelot golf game mixed in with Stardew Valley. That's like what Stardew Valley and like or Earthbound. I heard that.
Yeah, it definitely. All right. So essentially, you're you're a golfer and you're trying to get lessons from the pro at this club that you start out at, the golf club. And he's like doesn't want anything to do with you. He's like, nah, like you're bad, like get out of here. I don't want to deal with you. And he's got like a couple of students he's already teaching, and this one girl, and I guess quote unquote she's your rival. Like she's always
Gary?
like Garolina, and so essentially he's like, no, I've got people I'm teaching, don't get out of here. And she's just terrible. Like every time she swings, it's going all over the place. And you're like, so your guy's like, what the heck, man? It's like, I'm better than these people. So he's like, I guess I'm gonna have to prove it. And you go through these quests, and the quests are sort of samey. Like a lot of it is pretty much like, oh, why don't you hit this into this circle? And it's like, oh, you're in the rough, why don't you get it onto the green? Okay, and then like you shift around. And then there's, later on, there's like, oh, you're hit it into the circle that's surrounded by water, you know what I mean? Like it's a little island. So it's like, okay, this is a little more difficult, because obviously, like, I can't run it up into that. I got to do more of a shot where it lands into it and doesn't really roll too much. And like I said, a lot of the quests ultimately sort of have pretty similar feeling to it, but just sort of little tweaks here and there. But so far, It hasn't bothered me. I think I'm about a little over 6 hours into the game, and I'm still enjoying those quests. They're, like I said, they're nothing groundbreaking, but they're fun enough where I'm having fun doing the shots to get it into the rings. As you continue on, like you'll play like 9 holes. Like pretty much there's a bunch of golf courses, and so far you start out at your first golf course, and you talk to the people, you do quests, and yeah, it has the Earthbound vibe of just being like weird, sort of weird writing and strange, and like the music.
Awesome.
The music is cool, but it's sort of like a little weird and offbeat on sometimes. Like it's like this is sort of strange, but I like it. And eventually, you get to the point where it's like, oh, like why don't you go over to this other golf course and sort of go there and sniff them out and see what they're all about. And like the owner of the golf club or the golf course you're at is sort of like, he seems like a sleazeball, like this guy's sort of he doesn't seem like he's really a good guy, But he's like, yeah, and then you go over to the next golf course, and then, there's a whole new set of quests for you to do. And like ultimately your goal to go over there was to play 9 holes so you could sort of scope out the course for like some sort of tournament or competition that would eventually happen. So you go over there, and that's all right. I'm gonna go play 9 holes, and then they're like, "Oh, well, you can't play yet. You got to do, you got to do this first." And then you talk to all the people, and you do some quests, and then eventually you could play the 9 holes. You jump back to your course, and then some things happen. Then it's like, "Oh, let's go to a different one." And so that seems to be sort of how the game's structured, where it's like you go to a new course, you do a bunch of quests. You ultimately get to the point of being able to play like a full 9 holes, and then you go back to your golf course and rinse and repeat. And that might not sound so enthused. Like I don't mean that as a bad thing. Like I'm enjoying that loop so far. I'm trying to think how many courses I have played. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just finished the 4th area, and I believe I know there's at least, I believe, I should say, I don't want to say I know. I believe there's at least 3 more. There might be some more areas. I'm not 100%. And I don't know, maybe they'll throw some more where you have to revisit an area with new quests. But so far I'm enjoying it. It's, like I said, it's really quirky and weird. I really love the use of, there's no, voice acting in this game. So it's all, dialogue and reading text. But what's cool is how they work the dialogue box. They do a good job of like making, like, for instance, like, oh, when someone's like, I don't know, like the box it'll say what they said, and then it'll sort of tilt over at like a 45-degree angle, like
Okay.
or like when like someone's yelling, it'll get as big as the screen, it'll whoosh, and then go back down. And
Oh, great.
yeah, they do a lot of really
Love it.
clever things with the dialogue box to sort of tell you like how the person's feeling, So I thought that
okay.
was really cool.
Neat idea.
As
I might just have to steal
yeah,
that.
as far as the actual golf goes, it's good. It's fine. It's not like super duper deep. If you are on the fairway opposed to the rough, you don't really see too much of a difference in the shot, It's not like it's that much of a penalty if you are on the rough opposed to the... I mean, like, I noticed in the bunkers, like, that definitely plays more of an effect on your shot. But for the most part, it's not like it's trying to be some sort of super golf sim,
Huh. Okay.
You can aim... Obviously, you aim where you are. There's like a precision mode, which lets you, because obviously each club has its max distance, and then you can sort of slide it down, and it'll show you where you want to hit on the bar. Pretty standard golf in the sense, you hit A, it starts sliding to the left. You want to hit it where your power is, then it comes back, and then you want to hit it where the center, so where the ball is.
Yeah, the classic.
Yeah, pretty standard
golf video game.
You can adjust where you hit the ball left and right and up and down, so you could play like a fade or if you need more lob or more of a line drive. So it's got those things. Like I said,
I mean, like you can change your club and stuff.
Yeah, you can change your from your woods down to your irons, your putt or whatever. You could purchase new clubs as you go along. As you level up, it pretty much. You get 5 points for leveling up, and you can distribute it however you'd like. By adding it into more power, all of your other things go down. So it's sort of like I'll put a point or two into power, and then I want my spin up. I want my accuracy up. The way you strike the ball up, and then it sort of adjusts that way. So I think that actually works really well how the leveling up system goes. Like you said, if you want to focus on just having like a lot of spin on your ball, you could do that. If you want to focus on having a big drive and being able to hit the ball really far, it's going to hinder the rest of your abilities, so you're going to have to make sure to bump them up along with it. And I think that works really well.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's cool. I mean, so it's just a pretty simple golf game. I mean, just kind of no frills.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, pretty simple golf game with a quirky story and characters, and I mean, I'm really enjoying it so far. And in the story mode, there really isn't you're not playing 9 holes after 9 holes after 9 holes. There's a lot of in between time from when you're actually playing a round of golf.
Okay.
And I think that actually makes me want to play the 9 holes even more. So it makes it more satisfying when I finally do get to play 9 holes.
Sure, I get that.
But I mean, the game looks really nice. To touch on any crashing and bugs, I have personally not experienced anything of that sort yet. But I do want to acknowledge that a lot of people have online.
Yeah, a lot of people have.
So if you are weary of that, like I said, for me, I'm about 6.5 hours in. I've not had any problems, but they're out there.
How far in the game do you think you are?
I think the game's probably at the rate I'm going. I'd imagine maybe like a 15-hour game. I think.
Cool.
I think I've heard somewhere 15 to 20 hours. So I mean, it's pretty beefy, and there's also just quick play where you could just play 9 holes outside of the story mode if you'd like. But
okay, that's cool. Now, does the story mode have any effect on that quick play mode?
To be completely honest with you, I don't know. I haven't played it. I think you need to unlock the courses to play them in quick mode. So,
okay.
That's
cool.
I
love that idea.
I don't think I could play the levels I haven't played in story mode out of it yet. I think you need to unlock them.
Now, isn't there, and I know you probably haven't played it if there is, but isn't there a 2-player mode?
No comment. I'm not honestly sure.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you gonna Are you embargoed or something?
Yeah, I'm embargoed on my purchase.
Yeah. Of this 2-week-old game.
I'm looking. Yeah, I mean, I just pulled up Nintendo's page. It says 2 players simultaneous, so it appears so. But yeah, no, I mean, so far I am really enjoying it, and
Awesome.
yeah, I'll talk. I've been playing another game in somewhat of a similar vein, which I'll get into in a minute. But
yeah, you already spoiled it because that's what you thought you were
yeah,
talking about at the beginning.
what a Jimmy!
What a Jimmy! Yeah, a Golf Story is a game that I'm definitely gonna get, and I heard that I think a patch is coming. It's already been submitted to Nintendo, so that's kind of nice. So probably when that is done is probably when I'll get it, because I've been like reviewing games like crazy, and it's like I just want to relax and play a game.
Yeah. It's nice to just play.
You know what I mean. Yeah. But speaking of games I've been reviewing, the next game that we are going to talk about, which just came out today or something. It came out. Yeah, it came out today, the day of recording. Is Tiny Barbarian DX. Yes, do you know anything about this game, Case?
I know it's in an 8-bit vein, right? And it's got some cool physical bonuses.
Yeah, I know. It's just a game I was thinking about getting physical, but then when I was put for the review, I'm like, well,
there goes that idea.
Yeah, I know. It's just I still kind of want it. It's a cool physical game. Now this is published by Nicholas. So the history of this game is really weird. It was like made by one man on Game Maker with Game Maker. And
Jeez.
Game
Maker, man.
I know, and a while ago, like years ago, and it was kickstarted for like a fuller release and they had like basically up until now he had only released 2 chapters of it, and now these are kind of like campaigns in themselves, or not chapters, they call them episodes. I mean, they're really kind of full length, like pretty hefty releases.
But yeah, it doesn't feel like a bit.
Yeah, it's and so there's, but until now they have 4 chapters on them, and I think even some bonus stuff too, and it's really an awesome game. It's based off of Conan, like the Barbarian, kind of like those aesthetics, except it's tiny Barbarian. There's lots of humor.
Except it's tiny.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I mean, like it's you kind of hacking and slashing your way through enemies, and the game is so freaking hard. Like it is, like every screen you have, you're trying to get through each screen basically, and I mean it moves around. It's like each level. It's kind of like the episode is made up of chapters, which are made up of levels, which are made up of screens. Like there's a lot going on, and and they really use like all of the design choices and stuff like to the fullest, and really good level design. Sometimes it feels like the enemies are like super cheap, and sometimes like it takes a while to get used to the controls, I think, and it's hard. Like it's really hard. Now the controls are great. You can jump, you can swing your sword, and then like there's also a bunch of combos. Like if you like hit like jump, or like sword, and then jump, then he does this like spin attack in the air. And stuff like that, and then if you hit down and Y, then like while you're on the ground, like he will do like he'll flex his biceps, and then it's like a counter for things.
Oh, that's
cool. You can like counter enemies with that, and then
that's amazing, actually.
Yeah, I know. And if you hit Y and down, and while you're in the air, he'll do like an elbow drop.
The people's elbow.
Yeah. And it's a strong attack you can hit things with. But it really is just kind of like a basic standard platformer with really pretty visuals, like gorgeous, vibrant colors. Very reminiscent of, honestly, of Shovel Knight. The deeper I got into it, the more I realized that, I mean, it's on that kind of level of like where they were getting their design choices from. Now, it doesn't feel like a Capcom game. Like it's not like Mega Man, or like, I feel like Shovel Knight is just like Mega Man. It kind of has that total feel for it. But I struggle to think of, I'm sure there's an exact game that is a perfect example, but it feels good. It's very cool. I was worried, like, when I first got it, I'm like, okay, so this is like a full, I mean, it's $30 retail release. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much it cost on the eShop, if it's the same price.
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah, it's $29.99.
Okay. I was like, man, I wonder how much, content there is here, and like the options and stuff. You can actually play it co-op too, which is really cool. Anyway, there's a lot of content. It's a pretty long and tough game, especially for that type of platformer. And it's really like, it's one of those games like when you get into it and you start really feeling the controls and becoming awesome. And I don't know. There's just not a lot to say about it because it's such a simple concept of a game. It's just like, it's just like your standard platformer game, but it's just really well done.
Hey, if they do it well, that's the most important thing,
Exactly. It has a lot of humor in it. Not a lot. It's not like crazy wacky or anything, but I mean, like, like with little cutscenes and stuff like that. And the bosses are so good. Bosses are amazing. There's this one boss, this bee, that's like this gigantic bee, because like the whole level, you're like riding bees and fighting them and stuff, and you get to the end and it's just like this big corridor, and you're trying to jump up these platforms to get the bee, and it's just so hard, and it's like at the beginning of it you're like, man, like this is impossible, like this is literally impossible, but then by the end of it you're just like, like when you're facing bosses, and have you ever done it, that thing where it's like you are just like about to throw your controller through the wall and you take a break, and then like you come back and you beat it on your first try?
Yeah, no, that's simultaneously such a good and frustrating feeling. Like,
yes,
why did I get held up so much last time when I did this? Right. But God, am I happy I was able to come in here and just take care of business.
And you know what, though? It's stuff like that makes memories and makes like memorable experiences, because that to me is so important in games, to have situations like that. And I feel like people don't know that and don't realize actually how important that is. To have, I mean, just the dynamic gameplay of having really tough sections mixed in with easy sections.
Don't tell that to Kirby fans.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the problems I have with Kirby. Like, yeah, for sure. But I just feel like it's really important to have those frustrating parts. And man, I remember this one screen that I was playing, and it was just so hard. Like, I could not, like, all these, and it's like, it felt like all the enemies were placed just so they could hit you and make it so hard. It's like, when you're on a level and you're just trying to make it through, and then you take it carefully and you're doing it really well, and then they kill you at the end, and you're just so mad that you try to steamroll through the level.
Oh God!
And then you just die again, and then die even worse, and then you just get madder and madder. And
yeah, and then you're not thinking at all, and you're like, ah! And it's like, man, if I had just taken 1 second and just took my time to do this level, it would have taken me one more try, and instead, it ends up taking you like 15. Trust me, I know that all too well.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I shouldn't say it. Never mind. I don't think you've posted that challenge yet.
Are you well, it wouldn't be the first, and it certainly won't be the last. Challenge would be terrible.
Yeah. I thought of you during the championships. During that.
Man, Casey would have sucked so bad up there.
Anyway, yeah, Tiny Barbarian. I think it's really cool. I think it's it's a pretty steep price. $30 is quite. I mean, this is definitely more of for retail. I think like heck yeah, I really do. Like I really put a value on retail stuff. Digitally, I think it's definitely more at the $20 price range, but definitely like wouldn't feel ripped off at 30. I just have
I know
value.
what you mean. It's a little, the content's there, but to get your foot in the door at $30, that's going to scare a lot of people away.
Oh yeah, I mean,
especially
totally.
Like not that the game looks bad or anything, but you do look at it and it's very, simplistic.
Yeah.
Looking game with a tiny little barbarian and with a big
Yeah.
old price tag.
Yep. And so I mean, I am one to put a good value on games, and I think if you like Shovel Knight, I think this game is definitely way harder than Shovel Knight. It's a hard game, but at the same time, it doesn't. You don't have lives, and it's if you die, you just start at the same screen, and it takes off like 25 points, and it's just, I mean, it's very minuscule, like,
Yeah, it's like no one cares about the points
I
anyway.
would love to see a run of this game without any deaths. Like, that would be the craziest thing.
Get on it. What are you waiting for?
No. But, yeah, so that's Tiny Barbarian DX. Check out my review at NintendoWorldReport.com. And I know what you're thinking. Are you really going to keep talking about another game?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
And that game is the same game that everyone's talking about, and that is Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley.
Come on down to the valley.
I've heard so many people talk about this game. It's just a kind of a hit.
Yeah, well, for starters, as I was saying before with my golf story that I got completely wrong like some sort of idiot. Now this game starts off and your grandpa had given you this letter and he's like, when life has you worn down, open this and you'll know what to do. And it like zooms in and it's your character and you're in like a cubicle in this office building and it's just like you hate your life. You could tell the guy, he is just not happy, and he finally cracks open that letter from grandpa and it's like, I knew this time would come, grandson, like, here you go. Go to Stardew Valley and take over my farm and live a simple life and get out of here, And that's just what you do. You go in and you are now taking over this farm, and it is a Harvest Moon style games, for those who don't know. You go in there and pretty much, you start in spring and, they give you some light quests. It's like, hey, why don't you go introduce yourself to everyone in the town? And then, hey, why don't you plant, a seed? And they sort of give you some, intro stuff to sort of ease your way into it. But it's essentially a farm sim, but more as well. There is like combat, and I believe there's romancing and all that jazz too. But I guess that's always been in Harvest Moon. You get married. Essentially, though, you start out and you've got this big plot of land, and it is just covered in trees and rocks. And there's like,
oh no!
So you're like, all right, I need to clear this out. And you've got like an axe and a pickaxe and all that jazz. So you could start doing that, but you'll actually find that it's going to take you a couple days. Like, I haven't even fully cleared out my farm yet, and I'm coming up to summer now. And, well, but essentially, though, like, it's one of those things where you clear out your spot that you're working with, and you have room to expand.
Gotcha.
So you start off essentially. I started off by planting some farm business, some seeds, and then of course you water them, and each seed has like a certain amount of time it requires. Oh, this is 4 days, 6 days, 12 days, and obviously the ones that are going to take 12 days are going to yield you bigger profit.
Okay.
But so essentially, it goes through a day-night cycle. So you wake up at 6 in the morning, you go out there, you water your plants, and then you've got other things you could do. I started off, there's like this mine, and you could just start exploring it, and you can keep going further and further down, and you meet a guy who like is in charge of like the Adventurers Club or whatever they call it, and and he's like, yeah, you're not allowed in, but then all of a sudden you get down to like the 10th floor of the cave, and he's actually like, oh, well, you know what? You've impressed me so far, why don't you kill a bunch of slimes, and then maybe I'll let you in, and then you do that, and then you can go in, and he sells things, and like more quests open up. And, I was doing that for a little bit in the beginning, and I was like, man, I need money, because like they start, again, they pretty much sort of not drag you along, but just give you hints like, oh, hey, like, here's a quest, why don't you get, build a coop, and then you can have chickens and stuff. So I got to the point, I was like, man, I need to start making money, because, I was making a little bit off the plants, selling the crops and stuff. But, when it takes 4 to 6 plus days, depending on what kind of vegetable you're growing, not a ton of money was coming in. So I started to fish, and man, fishing, dude, very important. I would recommend anyone. Fishing is good early on.
You should have learned that from Animal Crossing.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the fishing in this game is great. So, as you said, Animal Crossing, you throw it out by a fish, and, you just wait till they bite your line, you press A and you catch it.
Okay.
You don't see the fish. There are, like, instances where like the water would be bubbling up, and that sort of is a hint like, hey, there is a fish here if you cast. But you could just sort of cast it out there, and you sort of wait, and eventually they'll hit on, and it'll make a little ping sound, and then you press A or whatever to reel it back in. I actually think it's Y. And then you get into a little mini game, and I was actually reading. I didn't know this game was made by one dude.
Really?
Yeah, which is insane. I guess he worked on it for like 4 or 5 years. But he said he was playing a lot of Donkey Kong Country Returns, and he took inspiration from, the levels where you're on the rocket and you sort of have to tap A, sort of like a Flappy Bird kind of mechanic,
Yeah.
That's sort of how the fishing works. It's, like just a line north and south, and there's a fish, and he moves up and down that area, and you need to tap A to keep your little it's just like a little section of the bar over him, and then for a certain amount of time to catch him. So it's sort of active for to fish, so you can't sort of just do it mindlessly.
All right.
But no, I
yeah. See, that's something that I love the fishing in Animal Crossing because it's so simple and it's relaxing in a way, and like, it's just there's something about how it being so simple. But also, like, I say relaxing because it is, like, if you need it just to go around and find fish. But then also, like, when you find the big fish and you're like, I just need to hook this big boy, and it's like, and then he gets away and it's like the worst feeling in the world. But I would love to see, something possibly change for fishing in the future, Animal Crossing.
This could be a good solution. Like I said, it sort of makes it impossible to just sort of mindlessly do it, because sure, you can mindlessly get up into that point and then you need to pay attention. But, I think it's just the right amount of interaction you need, because it's not so strenuous that you couldn't do anything like, oh, I need to drop everything I'm doing to just concentrate on catching this fish, So I like the balance between how active you need to be, but still being a somewhat passive experience.
Okay.
But no, this game, it's funny. When I first started playing, it was very just like okay, this is
okay.
Like this is okay. Like I get it. Like I get it. All right. Then all of a sudden, like it started getting to a roll of things where I'm like, all right, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna fish tomorrow, and then I'll do that mining quest later. And then I'd like the next morning I'd fish for a little bit, and then I'm like, oh, let me do these things. I'm like, oh, I didn't get to go to do that mine. All right, I'll do one more day, and then I'll get this mining thing done, and then and then I'll probably wrap it up. Then all of a sudden you go do the mining thing, but then you're like, oh, but I'm also so close to this, and yeah, okay, I'll go one more day. And it just very much has that feeling of, okay, let me go one more day. And the days aren't so quick that they're over like that, but they're not also long enough where it would like deter you to be like, I can't, I don't have the time. Right. So I found myself, for instance, yesterday, the football game was on, and I just played Stardew Valley the entire time. And I was like, man, I just played like 3 hours and didn't even feel like anything. But it's weird because, and I feel like I'm just only scratching the surface. Like I said, I just started construction on my coop, which is going to take a couple days. But got to get my chickens in there.
Yep.
But, they're just, I haven't even really scratched the surface on really concentrating on befriending and, finding a wife or whatever in this game. And it's actually funny, there's like little festivals, and the one was, I think it's called the Flower Festival. And it's pretty much like all the people go, and then you dance, you ask someone to dance with you. And like I said, I hadn't really up to that point talked to many people, like I'd talked to them, but you need to give them gifts and stuff and sort of like to boost up, your relationship. So I was like, oh, okay, well, like this one girl, Penny, she seems pretty cool. Like I'll ask her if she wants to dance. And she's like,
that's my mom's name.
Yeah. Old Penny Burkham. And she's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, well, let me ask someone else. And like everyone's like, nah. Then I got a couple like, ew, no. I'm like, oh man.
And then this was hitting too close to home, so you turned it off.
And then I was like, all right, I'll ask a couple of the guys, and they're like, get out of here, bro. And I'm like, oh man, nobody wants to dance with Casey. And then I threw him a switch across the room. No, and then you talk to the mayor, and you're like, let's start this thing, and you're just over on the side while everyone else is dancing. But yeah, no, it's strange. It's got a lot of crafting. Obviously the farm sim, the dating sim. It's got combat stuff. Befriending people.
It's got it all.
Yeah, it really does have a lot, and the graphics are beautiful. The music is really, really nice and peaceful. I really like that. And honestly, like, I get how people get completely lost in this game. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't think I'll be the type of person that logs in 100+ hours in Stardew Valley, but I definitely am gonna give it a full season through, or a full cycle of a year through, for sure. And who knows, maybe it'll catch me more. Like I said, it really is satisfying to start to see your farm come together. Like I put in the well so you could fill up the water for the fishing. For watering the plants easily. You start to see like, oh, now I got the coop. I'm going to build a fence this way. There's a barn. There's all sorts that you can upgrade your house, and you can buy furniture and decorate it and all sorts of jazz. So it's definitely a game jam-packed full of content. And I guess it's really just a matter if you like that sort of classic Harvest Moon style of gameplay. And if it is, I think this is an easy recommendation. And the best part is, it's only $15.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Like
that's quite the bang for your buck.
Yeah, some reason I was anticipating, I don't know if I was originally thinking it'd be a $30 game, but just with all the hype and how well revered it is, I figured it would be a little more expensive, but I was pretty happy to see it was only $15, and that made it to me an absolutely no-brainer to purchase.
Oh, for sure. Awesome. Yeah, it's just like it's funny because I'm kind of thinking this or Golf Story, what am I gonna play first?
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of people's predicament that I've been seeing online.
Yeah, and I still don't know. Probably Stardew. I don't know.
Well, like I said, I feel like if you want more of like a point A to point B experience, then Golf Story, But if you want to just have sort of free reign in this world and like, hey, you build up your town, go meet people, do this, that, sort of whatever you want, mixed bag, then Stardew is definitely a fun game.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll hear more of that in the future, either by you or me. But, yeah, we have one more thing. Can you believe it? One more thing. And this is a listener call-in, or not call-in. Well, technically...
It worked. Well, name pending.
His name is Colin.
Project Octo Call-in Path.
Yeah, see, I was saying as in like a listener call-in, like he's calling in. But his name is Colin. Like, that was a complete...
I was like, is he trying to be witty?
No, I wasn't.
No, but yeah, an accidental pun.
Yeah. Colin Narad, he wrote in about Thimbleweed Park. And so he has some stuff to share. And we're going to read his email, and yeah, we'll talk about it. So go ahead if you want to...
It's a pretty beefy email, so we're going to try and get through it quick.
Yeah, so first of all, he says, "What's up, boys? Your jingle compelled me to write this up."
I'm glad the jingle worked. It works in mysterious ways. But, Colin says, I'm a handful of hours into Thimbleweed Park, which released on September 21st on the Switch eShop. This was a Kickstarted game developed by talent behind the secret, developed by the talents behind The Secret of Monkey Island and Maniac Mansion.
Mansion.
Oh my god, Maniac Mansion. I really wanted to scratch an age-old itch for a witty point-and-click adventure style game. So far, I can happily report that Thimbleweed Park does exactly that. There are no deaths or technical obstacles to progressing through this bizarre murder mystery. One thing I'm loving is when important details are released, they get added to my detective notebook. It makes for a handy task list. Probably my favorite aspect is when there's a lengthy narrative that unfolds. It isn't provided as a wall of text or boring dialogue. It actually opens up a dream sequence where I embody the character of the story being shared. It lets me teach me details through gameplay, which seems to be a perpetual challenge for developers.
Interesting.
Now Perry's gonna take the back end of this email.
Yeah, goes on to say, Thimbleweed Park is the town of the murder. The locals are extremely entertaining as the game lets you go down dialogue paths that are quite rewarding. At times, the game's developers take a stab at their old employers, as well as the video game development industry as a whole, which is always fun. The puzzles in hard mode haven't slowed me down yet, but I've got a knack for this type of game. Oh, good.
Humble brag. No, I'm just kidding.
A couple things you should know about before purchasing is that the game has been released on all platforms, including mobile, where it costs half as much. The touchscreen controls are the best way to play, but you do have a cursor controllable by the joysticks and a quick action option B button. Quick action option.
The B button.
which automatically selects the most logical action on any given object. An example being open for a door. This saves a bunch of time as you won't have to go to your actions menu every time. There are some lines that could have been recited better by the voice actors at times, and in an instance or two I've noticed some minor grammatical issues with the dialogue. I'm not sure if this was intentional to add to the charm and authenticity of this game. At the end of the day, I'm happy with the $20 purchase and look forward to uncovering the mystery behind the murder and the broken town itself. Regards,
CN, the boss hog boss.
CN, quote, the boss hog, unquote, hog boss.
Now, I wonder, there was a Jets player. He's no longer a Jets player. He actually plays for the Seattle Seahawks now. Sheldon Richardson. His nickname was the boss hog. And I wonder, is Colin
Maybe that's Colin.
Is he a secret Jets or Mizzou fan? That's where he went to college. We'll have to see.
Well. So you're one of those people that knows every single person who's played for a team and what college they went to?
Not all of them, but he was a first round, highly touted draft
just
pick,
kidding.
and he was pretty good. So, plus, he's the boss hog, brah.
He's the boss hog. I thought the boss hog was Ganondorf.
It could be.
Huh?
Maybe Sheldon is Ganondorf.
Okay. All right. Anyway, thank you. And Sheldon? I don't know where you're getting Sheldon
Sheldon
from.
Richardson. He's the Jets player I was talking about.
Right. Sheldon Richardson. And I thought you were saying Colin.
No, yeah.
Ganondorf. And if Ganondorf is writing in to this show...
I'm honored. Straight up, I'm honored.
Anyway, thank you, Colin, for writing in. That's awesome.
Thank you,
and it's good to hear about Thimbleweed Park. I know that a friend of the show, good old Dan, has been playing it too, and he loves it. And pretty much every single person I've heard that's played it loves it. So, yeah. If
Worth
you're a
checking
fan
out.
of adventure games, giddy up. So, anyway, let's take a quick break here since we've been rambling on. And we are going to come back to the eShop Roundup.
Yeehaw. Alrighty, we are back, and it is time for the
eShop Roundup. Yeehaw. And what do we have up first?
We don't have any Wii U, that's for sure. And
Nope,
that's
Wii U.
sad news, huh?
We use the sleep this week, but that's okay because we're gonna start with the 3DS download, baby.
Ooh-wee! Kicking us off, we've got Symphony of Eternity, the most generic RPG game of all time, or at least name, I should say. $7.99.
No, you had it right. The most generic RPG of all time.
Yeah, I'm looking at
That's
the
exactly
screens.
what it looks like. Symphony of Eternity. It's just amazing. I don't know.
It just rolls off the tongue.
It feels like they just plugged in, like, make me a fantasy RPG game.
See, I was thinking they might have like a dartboard, and then like in each quadrant has like different little bits. So like they had two dartboards in. They were like, "Oh, Symphony, what do we got this time?
Yeah.
Eternity, perfect."
Yeah, exactly. You're right, exactly. But if you're a 3DS player and you like RPGs and you're in the mood for an $8 RPG, boom, right there. Now, next up, we have two pretty sure retail releases.
Yep.
Well, no, one of them for sure. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions. Yeah, okay, Casey, that's enough. Yes, this is one that Casey reviewed last week. Yeah, I'm really tempted to get this game. I really want to play it, and Casey's review made me want to get it even more.
It's a fun game.
And yeah,
especially, I'm assuming you've played the original. It's probably just been a hot minute. But I mean, for anyone that has not played the original, man, I cannot recommend this game enough. I don't care if you haven't played your 3DS in months. It'd be worth dusting off. Now, if you'd played the original, I still enjoyed going back to play it, but I wouldn't give it as much as of a ringing endorsement, But if you haven't played it, man, this is definitely a top-notch game.
Well, I have played the original.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I meant more
Yeah,
for
okay.
other people out there.
Gotcha. Yeah, cool. And what's the last game we got here on the 3DS?
Layton's Mystery Journal, Catrella and the Millionaire's Conspiracy.
No, you got it all wrong. Layton's Mystery Journey.
Oh, what did I say, journal?
Yeah.
Potato.
Lady Mystery Journal.
I can't read today.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel, and the Millionaire's Conspiracy.
Well, why do you give me the hard one?
For $39.99. I didn't think it was hard.
I know, I'm kidding. I don't know what is going on tonight. I can't read. It's hot in here.
You get the last game on the list.
Oh, God.
Anyway, yeah. So this is another Layton game. It's like seemingly like out of nowhere. Like I haven't really heard a lot of hype for this game, at all.
I feel like I heard about it early on, and then I feel like it was like a big, is it gonna come out, is it gonna be localized, yes or no? And then it was released for the phone, and then then it was like, oh yeah, it's coming for the 3DS too.
Yeah, interesting. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that are really excited for that. I still have to play through one.
I've still never played a Layton game.
Yeah, I played through like the first one for 3DS, probably like 5 hours, and it was okay, but I didn't beat it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that'll be it for the 3DS, and it's time to move on to the Switch.
The old Switch Arena.
Yep.
And
now, first up, we have Ninja Showdown. See, I want to say Showdown because it doesn't have the W.
Showdown.
But yeah, Showdown for $14.95.
Yes,
now,
sir.
This
it's a weird
is an
price.
arena-based. Yeah, it's an arena-based combat game, and it's kind of just like you can play it multiplayer. I think you can even play it co-op against like waves of enemies, and then you can play like fighting against each other. But I've seen the game. I've seen some of the coverage that Justin Nation has did, and it's just kind of not very good looking and not very interesting. So
quote unquote meh.
Yep. Now, what's up? What do we have up next?
Next on deck, we have a little game I talked about last week, and that is Tumblestone for the Switch.
Boom.
Making its way on over. Now, I'm seeing the price here is $11.99 crossed off, and then it's $11.99 again. Yeah, I thought it was retail at $15.99 or $14.99.
I thought that's what the guy told you, but it's on my eShop right now, and it says $11.99.
Maybe there's like a launch sale of some sort.
Oh, maybe. I bet there is. Maybe I should pick it up then.
But yeah, no, that's $11.99. Fun little puzzle game. A lot of fun in a co-op environment, or not necessarily co-op, in just a couch multiplayer environment, I should say.
Gotcha. Yes, local. And next up we have Earth Atlantis, which this game was called like Original Journey. I think we talked about it.
Yeah, when Justin was on.
Yeah, this is for $14.99, and this is a really cool shoot 'em up, and it has that like monochromatic. I mean, it's just kind of like
hand-drawn visuals,
like pencil drawn, almost. And apparently it takes place like where there was a massive flood that covered up like 90% of the world, and so there's beasts everywhere, like water beasts, and so you're in a submarine.
Water
Sounds
beasts
cool.
are never a good
Looks
thing.
cool. I've heard that it's really hard, and I've heard that it's almost like I've heard some people say it's almost unplayable, and that there's a patch coming in apparently, but I don't really know what that's about or anything. But just heads up, might want to wait for the patch. So.
Yes, sir.
Anywho, next one up.
Volgar the Viking, $9.99,
Yes.
and this is like an arcade style game for the old Switch Arena.
It reminds me of an old Neo Geo game, like kind of like one of the very first ones, you know.
I mean,
like
it looks really nice. I like how it looks.
Yeah, and you should watch it. It's cool. Like when it's being played, it's very stiff and like. It just looks like arcadey. It's hard to explain, but it looks cool. I'm interested in it. $9.99 is a good price too. So, but speaking of Neo Geo games,
I got scared for a half a second.
I know. It's like, hamster. Where's my hamster toss?
Where are you at?
But
here it is.
We got it. It's Metal Slug X, or it's not 10.
Is it just like the Mega Man version, like Mega Man X version?
That would be awesome. But it's of course $7.99 now. This is, to quote them, a rearranged version of Metal Slug 2. Now, when I hear that, I think that wouldn't that be funny if they just literally took like level 4 and put it as level 1?
Yeah, literally just the order's different.
Just resold it.
Or they mirrored it, so you just run from the right to the left instead.
Yes.
Like, groundbreaking.
Yeah, yeah.
Give us all your quarters.
I've heard this is the best version of this game. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to me, but well, I guess we'll see. I haven't heard anyone talk about Neo Geo games for a while because
all these other games.
Well, yeah, because there's a billion other games. So,
speaking
including
of which,
this next game that looks amazing that I'm waiting for my physical copy to be announced of when it's being released that I have pre-ordered.
You sound salty.
Whew, I'm not salty. I want to play the game, I guess.
That game is Axiom Verge.
Boom.
I think everyone's probably heard of this one by now. I actually played it on the PS4. Believe it or not, it was one of the very, very, very few games, probably the only quote-unquote indie game I've ever played not on a Nintendo console.
Interesting. Now, this is $19.99.
Yep.
Which is pretty. I mean, that's up there. I mean, you know what I mean. Even you got Stardew Valley at $14.99.
I'd say it's worth it though. It's a very good game.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm buying it for like $30 because
gotta get that physical.
The physical. Heck yeah! I've been waiting to play this game. I want to play it so bad, and I can't wait to have the physical version sitting there right on my shelf.
One day in the year of 2019, you might have that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why. I was like, it's coming out. Well, then is my physical version coming out? I should reach out and see what's going on with that. But anyway, speaking of Stardew Valley, the next game we have is Stardew Valley for $14.99. We just got done talking about it. So go back like 20 minutes. You'll probably hear it.
Next up, we've got a game I've heard plenty about, Oxenfree. And that is $19.99. This is a supernatural thriller about a group of friends who open up a ghastly rift. And,
Ghostly?
Oh, God. He can't read, dang it. Yes, it's an adventure game, so, you know, again, not exactly my cup of tea when it comes to style of game, but
it's side-scrolling.
It looks really nice.
Oh, yeah. It's very hazy. Very mysterious, which is good for an adventure game, I suppose.
Yeah, and I guess...
And I love a good ghostly rift.
I was going to say, some might even say it's ghastly.
But only when they're misreading something.
But only when they're when they can't spell or read. I'm taking this next game. It is Tiny Barbarian DX.
No.
$29.99. Perry talked about this just a minute ago, and I'll let you finish up this last one.
I already delegated you the last one.
I could give it a whirl, but it would be ugly probably.
Please do.
Tahoe Kobudo 5?
That's just as good.
Tahoe Kobudo 5 Burst Battle for $29.99.
Yes. Now, this is one of those games where you look at it and I'm reading the description and I'm looking at the screenshots and I still don't know what it is. It's a 1v1 shoot 'em up. That's what they say. And it's like split screen, like a vertical split screen. And it's like one-on-one and you're shooting each other?
Yeah, it says, take control of one of 9 characters and eliminate your opponent. Use it bullet hell patterns, melee attacks, or spell cards. Which, like you said, it's weird because bullet hell, you just think of like, oh, you're just side-scrolling and there's just bullets everywhere. A bullet hell pattern? So you're just opening fire? Is that what they're trying to allude to?
I don't know, but it's just like crazy, like anime looking game. So, and it's $30. So
interesting.
And it's the 5th one. So
I just took a sip of water when you said that. I almost lost it, Bobby.
Unless I wouldn't be surprised if it's just called Tahoe Kobuto V, as in just V. Like, not 5.
Yeah.
It's just the Japanese weird naming conventions.
They just
with, no spaces in between.
They want to give the illusion that it's a successful, long-running franchise. So they just are like, 5.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that there's not that there is a space in between the colon and the B.
Yeah, this is some bull honky.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for the eShop Roundup. Woohoo! Oh boy. You know what time it is?
I think I do.
It's time to stop and rejuvenate yourself at the YouTube Saloon. Yes, and what do we have on the docket this week on our YouTube channel, which is Talk Nintendo Podcast?
Nope, just Talk Nintendo.
Just Talk Nintendo.
We have up a mini play with the one and only Perry Burkham in the old Salmon Run.
All right, Salmon Run, baby. Yeah, I recorded some salmon running. It was fun.
Indeedy it was. Almost as fun as our Mario 1 World 1 race for our challenge this week.
Yes. This one was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it might be our shortest challenge yet, but it was still a lot of fun.
Don't say that.
Well, I mean, just because.
Well, I guess they're gonna find out.
Well, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it wasn't short virtue, due to either one of us. It's just
right.
World 1 is limited.
Yeah.
So I think I know I had fun. I think you had fun, and I think it's fun to watch. So I think you should definitely check that out.
Check it out right now. Boom, and you can tap in the description on this episode in the podcast app. It'll take you right there. Isn't that so cool?
Ooh-wee.
So quit listening to this podcast and go watch that podcast. No.
Yeah. No.
Wait.
You stay here, dang it.
Yeah. Open it on a different device and watch it at the same time. But all right. Thank you, Mr. Saloon. Now let's.
Is it Mr. Saloon's hanging out with Uncle Amiibo?
Yes.
That's so funny.
Now it's time for
News Talk with Casey Gibson.
the news.
That's right. And I'm hesitant to say it's a hearty news section, but we will see. Time will tell. We're going to kick it off with the Nintendo World Championships, which happened this past weekend. For starters, I know I said I would be going. It actually turned out with some car business that I actually was unable to attend, which is unfortunate. But the good news is I didn't miss any mind-blowing announcements or anything, as there were none. It was just pretty much a standard.
Yeah.
They played the gamut of games that, Splatoon, ARMS. Obviously we were all expecting Odyssey to be shown off, and that was. But they also threw in a bunch of older games that we saw, which, like, Bird and Beans, and, I'm blanking on the name. Balloon Trip was on there again. Tetris, so it was cool to see just a nice mix of new and old. But, yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I mean, like, for what I could see, heck yeah, I think it was so cool. I love how they just, like, Bird and Beans, I thought that was the coolest thing. Like, seriously. Like, just so random and cool, but, yeah.
No, anyway. Yeah, it was great. Now, were you a little upset there were no announcements, or just surprised, or?
Dude, there's so many games.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised, really. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's a good precedent to set now. Is now coming in the next years. We don't have to expect announcements. And then hopefully they should do this every year. And I think they will. I hope they do.
Yeah, well, they did it in 2015, took 2016 off, and then did 2017. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes moving forward. I was a little surprised just because I could have sworn, there was a Rocket League event going on in the Nintendo New York store. So I was like, Rocket League's definitely got to be one of the games played, and then they're likely to give a release date, because that's not
right.
Groundbreaking announcement news, but it's still oh, nice, we finally got a date. But nope.
Right.
Nope. Now, John Numbers, who was the champion from the 2015, he made it all the way to the finals, but he could not overcome the Mario Odyssey boss and ended up losing to the winner, Thomas Gonda. So big congratulations to him. Did you watch the Odyssey?
I did not.
See, I did just because I was curious to see who won. Really, really cool boss fight. I'm not going to spoil it because I know a lot of people, were so close. But
and I don't want to.
No, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna say anything. But if you don't care about spoilers, and I would recommend checking it out. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Now,
heck yeah.
Moving along, we've got some more Nintendo Selects on the way. 3 more 3DS titles are coming October 13th, which happens to be the day after this recording goes up. You'll be able to pick up Kirby Triple Deluxe, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, and Super Mario 3D Land for $19.99. I really like. I mean, obviously 3D Land's incredible. I like Triple Deluxe, and it's weird. I played like Luigi's Mansion for like 5 hours and then never went back to it. But yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if it was just like the original Luigi's Mansion. It was nice to be able to have free reign of the mansion. I didn't like the quartered off areas in this one. I would like to one day go back and revisit it, but it is definitely not on the priority list.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think, I mean, Super Mario 3D Land is one of my favorite games ever. Triple Deluxe, never played it, and I won't play it. Because I played Robobot and I didn't like that, really. And then, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Perfect for Halloween.
Ooh, spooky.
And you know what else is spooky? This next story.
Is it? Is it because it's double 18?
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, read it.
I was waiting for you. I'll do it. FIFA 18 sells 18% of its copies on the Nintendo Switch. So,
man, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good when you consider that FIFA definitely still comes out for like PS3 and Xbox
PSX.
360. So, like if you were saying, oh, it's sold 18% between PS4, Xbox, and Switch, then you might not be so, optimistic about that. But when you consider, FIFA's released on like everything. So 18%, that's, look, Windows, Switch, PS3, PS4, 360, Xbox One. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 different platforms, and it's got 18%. It's not too shabby.
That's awesome.
Not too shabby.
No, that's amazing. So good. I hope that must be pretty good sales then.
No, and maybe that shows EA that like, hey, Nintendo fans
get your
want
stuff together.
some sport games and they want to play them, So bring us some fully featured versions, please. And thank you.
Wonderful. Now, next up, this is fantastic. There is an ARMS graphic novel in production.
Oh, when I saw that, dude, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
That's just so good because that universe is so great and I want to see more of it. Now, is this Nintendo is partnering with Dark Horse? Or
Yep.
I assume,
yep.
Right? And which they make all those Zelda ones.
Yeah, they made the big books and stuff, yeah.
And it comes out next fall, so a year from now. So we'll have a whole year of hype.
Yeah, hopefully they'll get all these new characters that I'm assuming, there are going to be some more characters coming out, so.
Turns out Mechanica is evil.
Oh, that'd be no bueno.
Yep. But you know what would be bueno? Is if Nintendo made a Game Boy Classic.
Whew, and why do you say that, Perry?
Because they filed a trademark for Game Boy.
Woo! Now,
why would they do that?
I don't know.
Maybe Game Boy Virtual Console on Switch, which would absolutely be amazing.
That would be so cool.
Oh man, I would love that. I would buy the games again.
And then they could add touch controls. And what you do is you just flip the Switch on its side and hold it like an old Game Boy, and you only have a little tiny bit of screen on the top, but then it has big touch buttons.
Well, here's the thing:
I'm just kidding.
if you hold your Switch on the side, you can play like with the Joy-Con. You know?
Yeah, it's true.
You can play it. So, yeah, that would be awesome. And who wouldn't want one of those? And I wonder what it'd be like.
Yeah, no,
you know?
Yeah, because like you wouldn't want to make it too miniature because then like obviously the screen's gonna be stupid small and then it would just be uncomfortable to hold. But I don't know. I mean, I guess you could also probably make it,
and maybe let it go out to the TV.
well, I was gonna say you could probably make it just the size of like a Game Boy Pocket, and it's like it's all gonna be pretty much empty anyway. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be like super expensive to make. That might be an option. Although I guess they need to deal with putting a screen in there, and I don't know. Yeah, like you said, who knows? Maybe it just shoots it.
So cool.
Maybe it just shoots it to the TV, and it's not actually portable.
Yeah, I could see that.
That'd be a nice way to
A lot.
record some beautiful looking Game Boy games.
Yes, you're right. So hopefully we'll hear about that. So
Now, speaking of classics, did you hear about this ridiculous
Yes.
SNES classic offered by Dell?
for the low price of $479.93.
It's amazing. You get the classic, and but you also get 5 3DS games to go along with it. Now, don't get me wrong. This is like the quality of this bundle is not in question. You get Monster Hunter Stories, Majora's Mask 3D, Dragon Quest VIII, Samus Returns, and Pokemon Sun, and the classic for that price. But what a random bundle.
Yeah, well, you get a 3DS as well.
No. Do you? Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to for that price.
Yeah.
But but like, why would you buy all? It just doesn't make sense. Like, who's in the market for a 3DS with these 5 games and a classic?
Well, apparently it's not available anymore, so either they sold out, or they decided this is the stupidest thing we've ever done.
What did we do?
We're Dell.
Yeah,
Why are we selling this anyway?
yeah. Why did Nintendo send us these things?
Yeah. Well, just throw it in a collection with all the rest of the crap they sent us.
Oh, that is so funny.
Try to sell everything. Maybe they literally had one of each of these things. And
Yeah.
They just wanted to sell it all at once to one person, and they just put it up until someone bought it, and they sold out.
One super desperate person's like, I guess I'll buy the $500 bundle.
Yep. Okay, cool. So, next up, Heyo, Mutant Mud's collection for the Switch, baby.
Ooh-wee, thank goodness. Come on down.
Yes, friend of the show, Jules Watcham. He is plunging onto the Switch. Finally. And it's not just Mutant Muds. It's a collection, like we said. And that is Mutant Muds, Mutant Muds Super Challenge, and Mud Blocks.
Woo!
Which is Bomb Monkey with a reskin with Mutant Muds, which is a great idea, and it's gonna be so cool because I love Bomb Monkey. Now here's hoping that they can at least use the original song from Bomb Monkey, because that's my favorite song.
I've never played Bomb Monkey, so I'm excited to actually get a chance to play.
Yeah, you should be. It's great, and there's gonna be leaderboards on every game.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing
sir.
wrong with that.
We might just have to have Jules back on when this comes out.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And if not, we're going to have some serious mud block competitions.
Yeah, we could do a challenge.
Sign me up.
Boom. Okay. Well, no, I wonder. Yeah, because we could play like against each other's high scores and stuff. Okay. Next up, though.
We've got some Stardew Valley news. It debuts at number 1 on the top-selling eShop game, but
Yeah.
that's to be expected with how much hype was around that game. I would have been shocked if it didn't.
Yeah. I'd like to hear numbers on this game. because I think it's potentially a lot.
Oh, because I know people have been saying like, yeah, I played it for 200 hours on the computer. I cannot wait to have it on my Switch to play with me wherever I go. So I think you're getting a lot of people who are going to be double dipping on this game.
Yes. Oh, and please bring Animal Crossing.
Oh, 2018
soon.
holiday.
Oh, yep. I hope
Put
so.
it in the books.
Actually, I hope it's 2018 early winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or actually,
put it in the Odyssey
how
slot.
about late?
I'd be okay with that.
How about late fall 2017? I'd be fine with that too.
Late fall 2017.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
I'd be fine with that. Heck, why don't they just release it now?
Yeah, but even better. Screw Stardew Valley.
Yeah. They gotta think like, man, one guy made this game, and I bet more people played that than the last Animal Crossing.
Probably.
And they're thinking, oh my goodness, why? How could we let this happen?
We're being a bunch of gyms over here. Anyway, moving on.
Why did we do that weird 3DS update to the game?
We should have been
last
working on
year?
a new game.
Imagine that they just didn't work on a new game.
Imagine that
They were just putting all their effort into that update.
there was just never another Animal Crossing game again. Let's not
Yeah.
think such sad things. Anyway,
Okay.
now, this last little bit of news we got here from Koizumi in a Retro Gamer interview says, when we were making prototypes, this is on Mario Sunshine. When we were making prototypes, we were exploring the idea of a disaster recovery mission style game. We experimented with a lot of different things before we switched over to making it a platform action game. It was challenging coming up with ways to include new elements like having people without it seeming odd. In an early prototype, the player wasn't searching for shine sprites, but instead the story was set on an island that was slowly becoming polluted by enemies. The idea was that you'd wash the pollution away with flood and also use it to defeat the boss enemy, the source of the pollution. Could you imagine that was like... What a drastically different game that would have been if that was the route they ended up going with.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's why I included it here, because it is just weird and sort of strange to think about.
So, it wasn't a Mario game?
No, it was still Sunshine, but like instead of collecting sun sprites or shine sprites and how it was sort of like, oh, let's take Mario 64 and sort of riff off that. I guess they were trying to go a completely different direction.
Well, they said before switching to a platform action game.
Yeah, before switching it to what it is.
To a Mario game, and to me, it's like that's what Mario is, right?
Yeah, but
It's a
think
platform
about
action. So
back then, 3D Marios, this was only the second one. So there was no standard 3D Mario game. There was just 64, you know?
Right.
Well, I'm certainly, not to say that this wouldn't have been a good game, but I am glad they ended up making the change.
I love me some Sunshine, baby.
Me too. But anyway, that's going to bring us to the end of our news section here.
Woo-wee.
I think we're going to take a quick little breather, and then when we come back, we're going to get in the driver's seat of that hype train and start propelling it forward with our top 3 most anticipated releases of the year. Alrighty, we are back. And before we get into our own most anticipated games, we've got a couple of winners to announce, don't we, Perry?
That's right, and we can read some of our tweeted answers.
Yes, sir.
Like, why not, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So our YouTube winner, because we had 2 things here, right? Remember we had a $110 eShop card giveaway for YouTube and one for Twitter and our YouTube, well, Twitter and Reddit. And it was Daniel Malupo.
Woo! Yeah,
That's him.
Daniel.
Good job, Daniel. Now you can go buy Goner on the eShop.
Yes, sir.
$9.99.
It's a good pick.
Yeah. Yep. Now, what about our other raffle? Where does it come from? Twitter? Where did the old random drawing come from?
It came from Hold Your Horns. It came from Twitter, yes. We also opened this up on Reddit, so there were a ton of responses over there. But randomly selected Andrew, a.k.a. Giant Bowser 2003. Congratulations. Now, he said his most anticipated game, as he tweeted to us, was L.A. Noire. I never finished it on the Xbox and feel like playing it on the go will let me finish it at my own pace.
Beautiful.
There we have it.
Great idea. Wonderful.
Now, let me tell you real quick. One of the more popular answers we got was a little game called Hollow Knight.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too.
Like a ton of them.
Flare
Link on Reddit.
I don't even know what this game is.
Yeah, Flare Link on Reddit. Hollow Knight is a game I'm most excited for since I want to play it on the go and not on a laptop.
Okay, so we should check this game out.
Yeah, no, I looked at it. It looks pretty cool. I don't exactly, like you said, it looks visually really cool. But yeah, it's like a Metroidvania style game. I guess it originally came out for Windows earlier this year, February. So, this is going to be, a nice little way to play it on the go. This was actually a Kickstarter game. Raised over $57,000 by the end of 2014. So, it's good to see that they...
that's where I've heard about it. Okay, cool.
They made it come out.
Cool. Yeah. Also, at Squirtle WWE fan, which is a great name. He says, or they say, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Rocket League looks pretty good too, though.
Yeah, lots of Rocket League, as to be expected, I think. I saw a good amount of Dooms. Plenty of Dooms involved as well.
Yep. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Big Goron Z says Project Octopath Traveler.
That's a goodie too.
Yeah, we got it.
I got a pretty good one here. I think is pretty funny because you just would never have anticipated this being it. But Ice 12 Trey says Balloon Fight Versus. Balloon Fight is one of my favorite games ever, and I never played the arcade version, so I'm looking forward to it. Other than that, I'm pumped for Oxenfree.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. It was nice to see a couple of games that you might not normally think people are that hyped for, but that's why I like doing these giveaways and stuff, just to hear what people are talking about and what they're playing, and just to see all the different gaming tastes from our own,
Totally. Now, speaking of our own tastes, let's get into our top 3. So, I'm going to start it off with my number 3. Are you ready for it?
I was born ready for it.
Beautiful. That would be Axiom Verge.
Woo! A little game we talked about before.
Yeah, now, my physical version, like I said, I know it's out right now, but I'm not playing it. I'm not going to download it twice. I'm not going to pay for it twice. I'm waiting for my physical version, and I really want to play it. And that's about it.
Hey, if that's what you want, man. Now, my third... I don't know if this necessarily is my third anticipated, but I'm going to put it on the bottom of the list. And that is Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
All right.
Now, this is a game I'm obviously very excited for. I absolutely adore the first one. One of my favorite RPGs of all time. Didn't love X as much. Enjoyed it. It was fine. But we're going back to the roots. We're getting a proper sequel to the first game. I'm really excited for it. But it's in that sense of I'm excited for it, but I'm not dying for it. You know, like
Right.
when we get it, I will be very excited and very happy to play it. But right now, I'm not foaming at the bit for it. But
It's so weird how it's coming out so soon.
I think
so weird.
I think that might be part of it. Like, I feel like part of me is just like, it's not coming out in 2017. You know, and
Right.
it's like, obviously it is, but yeah, I don't know. It's strange. I know it's going to be a game I want to really, really enjoy digging into once it comes around, but for the time being, it's pegged number 3.
All right. Well, my number 2 for like these are kind of loose rankings, but Skyrim.
Ooh, all right. You're going to finally dip in, huh? Dip your toes into the Skyrim pool?
Yeah, I think I will because it's portable, and I think that'll be a fun kind of breakaway. I've been playing a lot of indie games.
Yeah, a lot
and,
of little bite-sized experiences.
Yeah. So I'm totally gonna dig into that. I should say this isn't on the list, but honorable mention would be the DLC for Zelda too. That'll be cool.
If it comes out in 2017. I don't know if I'm convinced.
Yeah.
No word on it is making me
The
a little
Amiibo
nervous.
do.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. What about your number 2?
My number 2 I have here is 9 Parchments.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that little game?
Heck yeah.
Now,
The game that you said you'd buy for me for Christmas.
yes, is that the game? Did I say that?
Yep.
Oh
you
yeah,
did.
because I wanted to play together.
Yeah.
No, this game reminds me of Gauntlet Legends, which is one of my all-time favorite games. It's just the time I played that game on N64, my brother, me, and then my 2 neighbors, we would, 4-player local co-op, so much fun. This game, it screams Gauntlet Legends to me, so I cannot wait to play this game. It looks beautiful, and if it can scratch that Gauntlet Legends itch, I am on board.
I'm gonna be honest with you. A game like that sounds like so much fun to play with you.
Oh,
So,
I can't wait, man.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Can't wait till I find that in my stocking.
In your virtual stocking?
Yep. Now, for my number 1 pick.
Drum
Are you
roll.
ready for it? I guarantee you're not ready for this. Because you're going to think I'm crazy. Are you ready?
I'm trying to think if I could think of such a crazy proposition, but no, I really don't.
Sonic Forces.
No. I call
No.
shenanigans.
Yep. I'm just kidding. Not really.
Well, thank goodness.
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, the Revelations collection, the Resident Evil Revelations, specifically 2.
Well,
but
I'll
since it comes
be
together.
dipped. Because that's my
What's
number
that?
1 as well.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Heck yeah.
And it is so funny because I was like, yeah, I'm excited for both, but like I've already played the first one. Granted, it was years ago at this point, and I could probably use a refresher. But no, I've never played Revelations 2, so I'm excited.
Woo-wee.
Look
And
at
it's
that.
physical. Heck yeah.
Look at that, both of us. We're just a couple of Resident Evil knuckleheads.
That's right. Wonderful. Well, yeah, there's a lot of part of me is like, looking at the releases ahead. I mean, we have Mario, but after that, I mean, there's nothing that's like crazy. I mean, you have Xenoblade, but I'm not completely on board for that. I know you are, but I mean, and still, I feel like that's kind of a long burn. But I feel like this stuff is gonna slow down. Hopefully,
God,
a
I
little
hope
bit
so.
at least. It has to, right?
I need a minute to breathe.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's gotta slow down because there's like at least like 10 games coming out a week is sick.
Yeah, it's like, how can you even keep up? It doesn't make any sense.
You missed this in the news block. This Perry's news block coming in. Party Golf is coming October 19th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that came out of nowhere.
I know.
'Cause
Heck yeah.
no, I thought when we heard, they must have already been working on the Switch version or something when we talked to them at PAX.
I think they were talking with Nintendo about
those dirty
Dev
dogs.
Kit. Yep, that's a great game to look forward to. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah. Anyway,
plenty of really great games coming. I think we're all going to be busy to the end of the year. That's for certain.
oh man, Odyssey, dude.
Oh,
Oh man.
yeah. Well, we're
So-
just a little teaser, I guess, to next
Yeah,
week.
I was gonna say that. Yep.
Yeah. Why don't you tell the good folks what we
Yeah.
have in
So
store?
our topic of the show next week is we're gonna rank all the 3D Mario games.
Ooh, and it's going to be crazy.
It is, and I think that we should we loop in the 3D Land and World games? Or
Oh,
not?
absolutely. Yeah, they're included.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of like them. Like, I kind of want to put them in their own genre because then that would give me hope that they'd make more of them. You know what I mean? Like, instead of thinking that this is the step
Well,
of, you know what I mean?
I'm not.
Like, but that's just me.
No, I know what you mean. I think there's still space for both kinds of games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think just because we're revisiting the more traditional 64 Sunshine style of 3D Mario that we'll never revisit the other ones, Like, I could see the next game being in a more, similar vein to a 3D World, which is going to be, I mean, I don't want to say that it's easier, but, like, I'm assuming when you stack the two games side by side, it's probably easier to just make individual levels, you know what I mean? Than just
Right.
like a big cohesive area with tons of things
Oh,
in
yeah.
it. So who knows? Maybe that's they do a quick turnaround, and in 2 years from now we have a new 3D World kind of game.
I'd love that. Especially on Switch. So good. But yeah, dang it, Casey, you're using all of our anecdotes.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, cancel all of that which I said, and we'll just paste it on the end of next episode.
There we go. You know what? I totally have a hankering for.
So a Whopper.
Oh, yes. Thank you. But I would love a new Super Mario Bros. Game. Maybe not necessarily new Super Mario Bros., but a 2D side-scrolling one.
I would love if they pulled a Sonic Mania and did like a Mario just 2-bit, not 2-bit, like 2D in like the 8 or 16-bit
or 16
style.
Oh, man.
And like make it a $30 game. Boom. Or hell, I'd pay full
Yeah.
price for it, but you know what I mean?
think it'd be so cool. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Anyway,
yes,
let's save all this Mario talk for next week when we ramp up the hype train.
We'll start Mario Palooza.
Ooh, I like it. Talk Nintendo's Mario Palooza 2017.
Mario Mania.
Oh,
Yeah.
alrighty. That's going to bring us to the end of the show. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at TalkNintendoPod. That's TalkNintendoPod. You can follow us, or subscribe, I should say, on YouTube by going into the description right here on your podcast services. Click the link, hit subscribe, or you can just search us on YouTube, Talk Nintendo.
First one that shows up. It's like an orange circle.
Yep, big, beautiful
With a happy
orange
face.
circle. And, yeah, I think that's going to be the end of the old show, and we will see you next week.
Giddy up.
Project Octo Call-in Path. Layton's Mystery Journal.
Thank you, Mr. Saloon.